Heart and Home, presented by EXIT Realty.
So honored to have a very special guest on the radio show this week. We're talking with Elias Thomas, who is with EXIT Realty up in Maine. And Elias, good morning. We appreciate you joining us.
Good morning from a snowy southern Maine right now.
So I have to give you a little background on me. I was actually born in Maine.
No way.
Yes. I was born in Dover, Foxcroft.
That's great. Well, I'm in the southern part. I'm down almost as far south as you can go in Maine. I'm about 20 miles inland from Kennebunkport, where the Bush compound is.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're in a small lakes region in southern Maine. We're about a 2-hour drive from Boston.
Well,
Okay.
that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Well, Elias, I have to tell you, I first saw you on stage at the most recent EXIT Realty International Convention in Nashville, and not only are you a leader in the real estate industry, but you have a heart for people, and I think that reflects the whole culture inside EXIT Realty. But wow, your story is amazing, and I want you to give our listeners a little background on how you got to where you are today and what you're involved in.
Well, the trip that you're speaking about is a trip that I take every year. I'm a member of Rotary International in my local community, and back in, I think, 1985, 86, I was president of my Rotary Club, and then I was president of another one. In 98, 99, I became district governor, sort of overseeing about 43 clubs in 2000, 2001. And one of the things that I wanted to do when I was district governor was to participate in Rotary International's first and only corporate project, and that was the eradication of polio from the face of the earth. So I had an opportunity in January of 2001 to travel to India to participate in what they call an NID, or National Immunization Day, where the entire country of India is immunized. All the kids under the age of 5 are immunized in one day.
Wow.
And which is quite mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And that year when I went, I'll never forget, they had anticipated that we would probably have the opportunity to immunize maybe 175 million children under the age of 5. Now, obviously, I wasn't doing it all, but there are volunteers, not only Rotarians, but other volunteers throughout the country that all participate in this NID on one day. Now, at the same time, they were having resistance from the Muslim community to these immunizations. They were fearful that we were actually going to be sterilizing their children rather than immunizing them, and so they resisted allowing us to immunize the kids. Through Rotary's intervention, because we have no political or religious affiliation in any way, we were able to convince them that we, in fact, were there strictly to serve them and to save their kids from polio. And so, strangely enough, because of that intervention, on the 21st day of January in 2001, instead of immunizing 175 million, we came very close to 200 million children under the age of 5 in one day.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, and that is 20% of their population is under the age of 5, which is also unbelievable.
It's just mind-boggling. You know, it gives me goosebumps. You know, you're saving children's lives. You're doing something that's so good and so important.
Right. So in subsequent years, I couldn't go back the second year in 2001 and 2002 rather, because of 9/11. And they prohibited any Rotarians traveling to certain countries because of 9/11. So I actually led a team of young professionals who were non-Rotarians the following year in 2003, where we were doing a cultural exchange and living in the homes of Rotarians and so forth, and kind of traveling around that way. The following year, in 2004, I led my first team of Rotarians from all over the world, and we went strictly, again, to immunize the kids against polio. But while I was there, I realized that we have some pretty capable people that were on my team, and I said, you know, it's great to do some travel for about a week or 10 days, but we can do a hell of a lot more than simply coming over, and immunizing kids on one day, maybe doing what they called a mop-up operation for a day afterwards, and then traveling for a week or 10 days. I said, we ought to be doing something. We ought to be serving. That's what Rotary is all about, is to serve others. So the following year, I led a team to Southeast India, into Chennai, south of Chennai, because of the tsunamis that happened on the day after Christmas in 2004.
Oh, yeah.
And so for 2 years I did that, and then in 2007 was the first time that we went to actually do a hands-on service project in a specific community, and that was to build toilet blocks for people in a Muslim community where the girls could not go to school because they were menstruating, and they had no place to clean themselves. They would go out and do what they call do their toilet about 5 miles out of town, walking into the jungle and coming back, but they would have to miss out about a week of school every month. So we built toilet blocks for them in this village so the women and the girl children could go there to shower and bathe and also do their laundry and that kind of thing. And it increased the attendance at school quite remarkably. And then in subsequent years, starting in 2010, was when we were asked to participate with the Rural Development Foundation to help possibly build dams by hand. And it sounds rather daunting, but it's kind of fun. We actually were taken to an area that was kind of like dried up jungle area in the state of Rajasthan in northern India. And when the monsoons come in India, it floods everything. Everything gets flooded, and it carves the water basically carves riverbeds in these desolate areas. And then, of course, after everything dries up, then you have a dried up riverbed.
Sure.
And there's no water. So what we are doing is building what they call water catchment dams. And so we will find an area on a riverbed, if you will, that's dried up, and dig the trench across. That is the only thing that is mechanized, is the digging of the trench for the footing. And then by hand, we construct dams to catch the water when the monsoons come back the following year.
My gosh, that is unbelievable.
A huge undertaking, and something that's making such a huge difference. I mean, it sounds like over the past decade and a half or so, you have really changed the face and the landscape over there to, make it easier for those people to live day to day.
Yeah, I mean, all you did was help eradicate polio and,
That's all, yeah.
help educate children and build dams so people could have water. I mean, you're really lacking in a lot of ways, Elias.
I know. Well, I'm very selfish. Somebody said, "Why do you do this?" And I said, "Because I'm selfish. I'm selfish because I love to see a smile on a child's face who knows that they can drink water safely from a well in their village, or that they can go and they can bathe in safety, or that their parents or their grandparents can actually now, because we have these reservoirs created behind the dams, they are now able to create gravity-fed irrigation systems so that they can go out away from the reservoir, but irrigate areas where they can grow crops. And before we got there, if you will, they could grow maybe a crop a year maximum, and that was really scratching in dust. And now, because of the irrigation that they can create from these reservoirs with the catchment dams, they are now able to grow 3 crops a year. So they have the first one for their own subsistence, they have the second one to take care of their livestock, and the third one is a bumper crop. So not only can they sell it and help people that may not have access to fresh crops, but they're also elevating themselves economically.
Well, I know you just got back a few weeks ago. You had our COO, Erica Gillio, along for the ride as well, and several other people with EXIT Realty. And it was a group effort, but you guys, once again, had a successful trip. Is that right?
We had a very, very successful trip. We only work about 4 days while we're there on the construction of the dam, and I think if you think about, you're picking up boulders, you're picking up basins of sand or concrete mix and so forth. It's very, very hard work. And we stay in a tent village that is created for us very, very close by where the dams are being built. And I remember when we pulled in with our bus, and Erica looked out over out of the window, and I said, "If you look over there to the right, you'll see our tent village." And she said, "Oh my!" She said, "I didn't realize. I thought that I'd be very lucky if I could stand up in the middle of my tent." Well, we weren't in pup tents. We were in what they call Swiss tents, and there's enough room with 2 beds in it and a chest. In the back part of it, there is a toilet, a sink, and a wand shower. So we have hot water in the early morning and in the early evening, and so it's not. I mean, we're not suffering terribly badly. It's cold at night. It gets down into the upper 30s. So the people who run this tent village for us, they actually make sure that we have hot water bottles in our beds every night. So it's kind of, it's going back in time, but and I think Erica was a tremendous contributor to this effort. She's very, very hardworking and undaunted in her commitment to do this. It was way outside her comfort zone, and but I think she had a very rewarding trip. And I haven't seen her since she got home and since I got home. But the impact that we had not only on the people that we're serving in these villages, but also on the team members ourselves. Our team was comprised of about 25 people from 7 countries. So it was that interaction of cultures as well. My grandson went with me again. This is the 3rd time he's done this. He's very committed to serving other people, and I was really happy to have him. His stepsister went with him. That was way outside of her comfort zone, too. But the interaction with all of these team members, everybody kind of pitches in, and if somebody looks like they're a little bit down, there's always somebody there to lift them up.
Elias, we appreciate you sharing your story and your background with us on the show this week. And again, can't tell you how proud we are to be part of EXIT Realty, this radio show, and being able to tell stories like yours of people inside this company who are truly making a difference, not only inside our borders, but worldwide for the betterment of this planet. So thank you so much, Elias, for joining us, and we hope you have a great week, my friend.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you both.